Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Andy Cohen dodges question about disinviting Kenya Moore from RHOA reunion. The Real Housewives of Atlanta fans demand answers about Kenya Moore's departure from the show. However, Bravo head honcho Andy Cohen has dodged those questions left and right. Paparazzi recently caught up with Andy on the streets, and he refused to give a straight answer about Kenya's latest claims. The 54-year-old said she was scheduled to attend the RHOA reunion but was disinvited a few months later. Kenya has pretty much been erased from the season without any confessionals or an outlet to speak on the drama involving her and Britt Eady. So, she dropped a YouTube video titled The Confessional They Tried to Silence. In the 30-minute video, the RHOA star told her side of the story and slammed the network for how she's been treated. Andy has been dragged left and right by angry RHOA fans who feel Kenya has been unfairly treated in the situation with Britt. Kenya was promptly let go after the incident played out, at least for the rest of the season. However, Bravo has no plans to let her speak because Kenya won't even get a chance to show her face at the reunion. The Instagram account at Alabathatia posted a clip of Andy being questioned on the street about what's been happening with Kenya. Kenya says she was invited and then uninvited to the reunion, the woman asked. "I haven't watched her post yet," responded Andy, referring to Kenya's YouTube video. "But is that true?" the woman pressed as he walked to his waiting vehicle. "We'll talk about it," retorted Andy. He was also asked if Kenya would return to the show, and he sideswiped that question. "I love her," exclaimed the dad of two. "Listen, there is so much more of this season left, and it is so good." He noted that Phaedra Parks will appear in the next few weeks, and fans are gonna love it. "Right now, I'm kind of focusing on the rest of the season," he added. The setup for Kenya's YouTube video showed the RHOA star answering questions from fans about her RHOA exit. One question was about the season 16 reunion. "Will I attend the reunion? I haven't been invited to the reunion," said Kenya. "In fact, I was invited and then disinvited a few months ago." "The disrespect is insane," she continued, adding that she has been shut out and not given an opportunity to apologize for her actions. To be erased from the history of the show, to not be in the opening credits, to not have confessionals. "Really, that's how I'm treated," exclaimed Kenya. "That's pretty bad." The Bravo universe has always thrived on drama, but nothing gets fans talking faster than what happens behind the cameras. This week, Andy Cohen, the king of reunions, the maestro of shade, and the gatekeeper of Housewives history, found himself in the hot seat. The usually composed host didn't flinch when discussing messy divorces, explosive friendships, or scandals that made national headlines, but when the subject of Kenya Moore and her rumored absence from the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion surfaced, Andy Cohen suddenly shifted gears. The question was simple, but the answer wasn't. A journalist at a press event leaned into her mic and asked the one thing fans had been speculating about all season. "Andy, did you disinvite Kenya Moore from the RHOA reunion?" Gasps filled the room. The air felt heavier, as though everyone collectively knew they were about to witness a BravoCon-worthy soundbite. Kenya Moore, after all, has never been a wallflower. Since twirling onto the Atlanta stage with her signature Gone with the Wind fabulous entrance, she's brought chaos, wit, heartbreak, and more shade than a Georgia peach orchard in July. If she truly wasn't invited to the reunion, it would be seismic, and Andy knew it. Instead of giving a clear answer, Andy smiled tightly, raised his signature cue card stack, and did what he does best: deflect. "Well," he began, drawing out the pause long enough to keep fans on edge, "the reunion is always evolving, and sometimes the dynamics shift in unexpected ways. What I can say is that viewers will get answers when they tune in." Translation: dodge, weave, pivot, sip tea, smile. Classic Cohen. But his evasive maneuver only fueled speculation. Social media exploded within minutes, with hashtags like #WhereIsKenya, #AndyShade, and #ProtectTatwirl trending across X and Instagram. Fans accused Andy of playing favoritism. Others suggested it was all a PR stunt to keep the reunion ratings sky high, and a few even theorized that Kenya had walked away herself to protest production decisions. Andy Cohen has never been a stranger to the hot seat. For years, the Bravo executive and talk show host has leaned into his role as the referee, confidant, and sometimes instigator of the Real Housewives universe. But this week, Cohen found himself navigating an unusually sharp question, one that had fans buzzing and bloggers typing furiously. The question was simple but loaded. Did Andy Cohen disinvite Kenya Moore from the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion? The exchange happened during a recent taping of Watch What Happens Live, when Cohen fielded fan-submitted questions. One viewer dialed in with a mischievous smile, clutching a martini glass and clearly eager to stir the pot. "Andy," the fan asked, "is it true you uninvited Kenya Moore from the RHOA reunion taping? Because that's what's being said online." The room tensed, gasps rippled through the virtual audience. The bartender of the night nearly dropped his cocktail shaker. Cohen, known for his quick wit, broke into a grin, but there was something about the way he tugged at his cue cards that suggested he hadn't expected that particular grenade to land in his lap. "Well," he said, pausing dramatically, "you know I love Kenya, and I also love a reunion." He chuckled, shifting in his chair, deliberately vague. "Let's just say, I think everyone should stay tuned. There are always surprises when it comes to reunions." The audience laughed nervously. Some viewers clapped, while others squinted at their screens. Cohen's non-answer was classic Bravo diplomacy, evasive enough to keep speculation alive, but smooth enough to avoid outright confirmation or denial. The rumor mill churns. Kenya Moore has long been a lightning rod for drama within the Atlanta franchise. Since her debut in Season 5, she's twirled, shaded, and sparred her way into Housewives history. But lately, rumors of tension between Moore and producers, and even Moore and Cohen himself, have circulated online. Reports claimed Moore had clashed with the network over the direction of the season, allegedly threatening to walk out mid-filming. Others whispered that her storyline wasn't resonating as strongly as Bravo executives had hoped, making her less of a priority when the reunion seating chart was being finalized. So when Cohen sidestepped the reunion question, fans immediately interpreted it as confirmation that something unusual was happening behind the scenes. Social media eruption. Within minutes, clips of the moment spread across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Bravo superfans dissected Cohen's facial expressions with the intensity of forensic experts. Was that a smirk when he said, "I love Kenya"? Did his tone shift when he said surprises? Was his hand fidgeting with his notes because he was nervous, or because he was ready to spill but knew better? One fan tweeted, "Andy dodged that question harder than Kenya dodges accountability." Another quipped, "If Kenya was disinvited, you know she'll host her own reunion on Instagram Live and get higher ratings." Moore herself fueled the fire with a cryptic Instagram story hours later, a simple black screen with the words, "You can't disinvite a queen from her throne. #stay tuned. Andy's balancing act. For Cohen, this was more than just another awkward moment on live television. As both host and executive producer of the Housewives reunions, he carries the dual burden of entertainer and strategist. Fans expect him to deliver the drama, but Bravo expects him to protect the brand. Disinviting a major cast member like Kenya Moore would be a huge gamble. Moore is controversial, yes, but she's also one of the most recognizable faces in Atlanta. Cutting her out of the reunion could spark backlash, but inviting her could mean dealing with unpredictable fireworks, both on stage and off. So Cohen's decision to dodge wasn't just about evasion, it was about preservation. By not giving a straight answer, he allowed Bravo the flexibility to pivot behind the scenes while keeping fans glued to the uncertainty. Industry insiders weigh in. Entertainment journalists wasted no time speculating. One Bravo insider told a gossip site, "Kenya hasn't been officially disinvited. Discussions are ongoing, but tensions are very high right now." Another suggested, "Andy's dodge was intentional. He wants to create buzz. The more people wonder whether Kenya will show up, the higher the reunion ratings will be." Others believed Cohen's dodge revealed deeper cracks in his once unshakable Bravo armor. "Andy used to be able to joke his way out of anything," one critic wrote. "But this time his pause spoke volumes. It feels like even he doesn't know how this is going to play out."